Chapter 2381. I really couldn't find him. Huasiqian struggled to answer. That's strange. Nala said you're doing well in China. You're very powerful and you can get away with killing a few people. Why is it so hard to find someone now? Can you explain to me what's going on? Ian laughed maniacally. Huasiqian knew this wasn't a good sign. I've been trying to find the person you're looking for, but that was many years ago. I already told you that Professor Lu and his wife ran away from Dongtao Town. After the baby was born, the people in Dongtao Town started to mysteriously die. Even Dr. Lan's family who helped the baby has been missing for many years. The database was burned to ashes, so I don't know where to start. It's not that I don't want to help you, it's just that you're in a lot of trouble. Huasiqian had already thought of an excuse, so even if Ian questioned him he would still say the same thing. I didn't doubt what you told me before, but now? Huasiqian, I can't figure you out. Ian stared into Huasiqian's eyes and said meaningfully. Sir, if you don't believe me, you can go to Dongtao Town and check it out yourself. Huasiqian lowered his head. If I had the time to go to that godforsaken town, what's the point of asking you for help? It was obvious that Ian was very angry. Huasiqian didn't dare to say anything. Huasiqian, I know what happened back then. Although my brother saved your life, you're not grateful to him, right? Ian suddenly brought up what happened back then. Huasiqian was shocked. Sir, it's because you hate him. You think he could have saved you earlier, so why did he wait until it was too late to save you? You even think that my brother was gloating over your misfortune. Huasiqian tried to calm himself down so that he wouldn't give himself away. Master, I don't think that way. I'll always remember Master Nalo's kindness for saving my life. You don't have to be afraid. Even if that's the case, it's nothing. You're right. That's what Nalo meant. But he still saved you, which means you're lucky. If I was the one you met, I wouldn't have saved you at all. You might have been crippled by those black guys. At the mention of that stain, Huasiqian's face turned pale. That was a past that he didn't want to talk about for the rest of his life. A nightmare that he didn't want to recall for the rest of his life. But Ian just had to say it as a joke. His heart was very uncomfortable. So, it's normal that you don't want to be loyal to my family. I can understand that. So, I'm going to talk to you in a different way. Ian smiled. Then he moved closer to Huasiqian's ear and said, I'll give you 1 month. In 1 month you have to bring the person I'm looking for to me in Indonesia. Otherwise your beloved sister Dr. Oh no, I should call her Mion or Mion. She'll become my new toy. What do you think? After hearing what Ian said, Huasiqian's eyes widened. He was so shocked that he couldn't speak. Chapter 2382. Don't worry, I believe that you'll find her. You won't let your precious baby get hurt, right? Then Ian patted Huasiqian's shoulder and left. Huasiqian stood at the entrance of the hospital, breathing heavily as he digested what Ian had just told him. Ian's words proved that he didn't know that Mion was Professor Lu's daughter. So he thought that Huasiqian didn't try his best to find her, or that he was hiding her on purpose. So, after coming here and confirming that she was the woman that Huasiqian cared about, he used her as a threat to make Huasiqian give in to him. Even so, Huasiqian was in a difficult position. If he didn't hand over Mion in a month, then Min would still be in danger. Huasiqian returned to the Mercedes-Benz RV with an ashen face and didn't say a word. Boss, are you okay? His subordinate looked at Huasiqian through the rearview mirror as he drove. I'm fine, Huasiqian said, but his voice was trembling. He was thinking about how to report to Mion in a month. If he found a fake to fool Ian, he would definitely be exposed. Ian probably had Professor Lu's or Lu Yan's hair, and when he did a DNA test he would definitely be exposed. But he couldn't really bring Mion to Ian. What should I do? What should I do? Huasiqian looked out the window and mumbled to himself. Inside the black Bentley, Chin-Chu and Min didn't say a word. After driving for a few kilometers, Min turned his head to look at Chin-Chu's grim face and slowly asked, Honey, I finally understand why you've been so weird lately. You've been so nervous about me, even following me to the... You're worried about my safety. Chin-Chu took a deep breath but didn't say anything. He just held onto the steering wheel and drove quietly. That foreigner just now. Is he the suspect involved in the recent murder case? You know him. If you know him, then Gao Ran must know him too. But they can't catch him because he's someone important. A perverted foreigner killing people in a foreign country and no one dares to stop him. You and Huasiqian both warned me to be careful. So I think that person just now is Ian, right? Huamin had figured out many things the moment he was pulled out by Qin Chu. After connecting the recent events together and making a reasonable deduction, she realized that the foreigner's identity was definitely not simple. The only foreigner who could make Huasiqian and Qin Chu take him seriously was Ian. She had heard of this man many times but had never met him. Honey? Qin Chu seemed to want to say something. Tell me first, am I right? Ian. Huamin held onto Qin Chu's arm and asked. He is Ian. Qin Chu nodded. Huamin's expression changed when she heard this. She immediately shouted, Honey, stop the car. What's wrong? Qin Chu didn't know what to do when he saw how anxious Huamin was. If he's Ian, then the girl I just operated on must be a victim. So, if we leave like this, will Ian do something to that girl? Just like how he did to Xiang Xian and Mo Schwerer? I have to go back and check. Huamin said as she opened the car door to get out. Mion, are you crazy? Get back here. Qin Chu was a little angry and pulled Huamin back. Chapter 2383. Honey, that's my patient. She was just saved from the jaws of death. I can't just leave her to die. Huamin had been working at Southside for a long time and was used to the responsibility and mission of a doctor. As long as there was a chance of survival, she wouldn't give up on any patient. Therefore, she was really afraid that Ian was going to kill the girl. Mion, if Ian really wants to kill her, it's too late for you to go back now. Even if you go back, can you stop him? Is he an ordinary suspect? Sin. He's a man that even Gao Ran and his elite subordinates can't do anything about. He's a man that Huasiqian would turn into a dog in front of. He's a demon, a psychopath who doesn't care about his own life. This isn't a game or a movie. Do you understand? Qin Chu hadn't spoken so loudly to Huamin in a long time, so his loss of control scared Huamin. Honey, you're yelling at me? Huamin looked at Qin Chu with tears in her eyes. Qin Chu slowly parked the car on the side and sighed slightly. He regretted his attitude just now. Then he raised his hand and placed it on the back of Huamin's hand. He slowly explained, Honey, I didn't mean to yell at you. You were too selfish just now. I know you're a doctor and it's natural for you to take care of your patients, but first of all, you're also a wife and a mother of two. If you don't care about your own safety and something happens to you, what will happen to me, little bean and pudding? Have you thought about it? Qin Chu's words left Huamin speechless. Can I at least call the hospital? I need to know how that girl is doing. Huamin pouted. Go ahead. Qin Chu didn't know what to do with his wife. Huamin took out her phone and dialed the hospital's switchboard. After asking a few questions, he finally felt at ease. Thank goodness he didn't do anything to the girl. The girl is fine and he seems to have left the hospital. Huamin finally let out a sigh of relief. To Ian, killing people is just a game. Everyone is his pawn and can become a part of his game. Whether he kills the girl or not depends on his mood and no one can stop him. Qin Chu tried to explain the stakes to Huamin. Huamin lowered her head and didn't say anything. But looking at her expression, Qin Chu knew that she must think that Qin Chu was exaggerating. Ian's story was too mythical. Qin Chu patiently raised his hand and rubbed her cheek. Honey, think about it. How could a man who even Lu Yen is afraid of be an ordinary man? This sentence reminded Huamin of something. She suddenly realized what was going on. Yeah, Yen said that Ian has been chasing her and Dad all these years. Someone who even Yen has to run away from should be scary. But when I saw him just now, I felt that he wasn't that scary. I even scolded him and cursed his mother. Huamin said proudly. You still have the nerve to say that. If I didn't go just now, do you think you'd still be standing there? Qin Chu was even angrier at the mention of this. If he didn't go with her, his stupid wife wouldn't be standing there in one piece after scolding Ian. So, honey, are you trying to tell me that the fearless Ian is afraid of our Mr. Qin? Huamin smiled, but she was actually joking with Qin Chu. Chapter 2384. He's not afraid of me, he's just afraid of the thing in my hand. Qin Chu paused. Afraid of what? Huamin was confused as he looked at Qin Chu. It's okay. I'll tell you about it later. It's useless to talk about it now. Anyways, from now on you have to be with me at all times. I'll ask for leave from the hospital for you. You can't go there anymore because Ian has started to notice you. I don't know how he found you, but you're not safe now. Okay, I'll listen to you. Huamin was very obedient this time and listened to Qin Chu's arrangements. After the car arrived at South Hill Manor, "You go back first, I'm going to the Municipal Public Security Bureau to see Gao Ran." "Hey, be careful," Huamin reminded him. Then Qin Chu drove to the Municipal Public Security Bureau. When he saw Gao Ran again, he noticed that his eyes were bloodshot. Before Qin Chu could say anything, Gao Ran laughed at himself. "I haven't slept for 3 days and 3 nights, damn it. I'm so tired. You won't be able to solve the problem if you don't sleep. Why don't you take a nap?" Qin Chu looked at him calmly. "The thing is, I can't sleep at all, my head is full of these things. Oh right, my subordinates found out that Ian took another girl from the bar tonight. There's no news of her death yet, I wonder if she's still alive." "She's still alive," Qin Chu replied. "How do you know?" Gao Ran looked at Qin Chu in confusion. "Because the girl was sent to Southside and Mian was the one who operated on her." "Huh?" Gao Ran was shocked. Then Qin Chu briefly explained the situation at Southside to Gao Ran. Hearing this, Gao Ran's face darkened again. "Fuck, this bastard is too cruel. No, I have to think of something." Gao Ran paced around anxiously with his hands on his hips. "What do you have in mind?" Qin Chu looked at him calmly. "I plan to come up with a plan and then get rid of Ian." Gao Ran made a throat-slitting gesture. "Get rid of Ian?" Qin Chu frowned slightly. He didn't think it was a good idea. "What's with your expression?" Gao Ran could tell that Qin Chu didn't agree. "Old Gao, are you stupid? I remember telling you what kind of person Ian is, right? You did, but I don't care anymore. I don't care if he's the Jade Emperor or the King of Hell. I can't let him do whatever he wants on my turf. Too, he's not killing cows or sheep, he's killing people. Bloody human lives. I understand now. As long as Ian doesn't leave, innocent people will continue to die here. And the way they die is extremely cruel. I can't let him continue like this. I don't believe that I can't kill him with a dozen snipers, bait and ambush him. Even if he has 3 heads and 6 arms, I will do whatever it takes to make him die here. He won't be able to leave." Gao Ran was pushed too hard, so he was on the verge of a mental breakdown. That was why he had the idea of going against Ian. "Let's not talk about whether you can successfully ambush him. Even if you kill Ian, have you thought about the consequences?" Qin Chu looked at Gao Ran calmly and asked. "No, I'll kill him first." It's not Gao Ran's style to be overcautious. "I've had enough of cowering like a sissy. This time, even if I die, I'll fight him with my life." Gao Ran was ready to risk everything. Chapter 2385. You know Ian's organization, right? It's the most famous terrorist organization and even the FBI can't do anything about it. Every year they train countless suicide bombers, and they're responsible for the most famous hijacking of a plane in Palestine. In 2009, the rebels in Syria bombed a certain country's president's house. They have a shocking amount of explosives and the most fanatical terrorist ideology. If Ian dies here, then our city will become a tourist destination for terrorists. We won't be able to get a single shred of peace. They might even harm the interests of the country. Gao Ran listened and licked his dry lips, but he couldn't refute a single word. Because he knew that Qin Chu was never a person who liked to exaggerate. Every word he said was carefully considered. Next is Ian's family. Ian has a twin brother called Nalo, who is the leader of the biggest mafia in Germany. He has a good relationship with mafia from all over the world, and he has a close relationship with the Yamaguchi-gumi. When the news of his brother's death spreads out, he will lose face. Do you think he'll just let it go? Not only will he kill you, but he'll also kill the snipers and his family as well as your Lingling and Boy. Think about it carefully. Do you really want them to live a life of being hunted down? Of course I don't want to, but is there no other way? Are we just going to sit here and wait for death? Gao Ran was in a dilemma. Of course not. I mean, even if we want to get rid of Ian, we can't do it here. We can't expose our identities. We can't let anyone have something on us. Qin Chu said. But it's not that easy. Gao Ran was annoyed. It's not easy. That's why he's a terrifying terrorist leader. Qin Chu looked at Ian's situation calmly. So I'm just going to do nothing? Gao Ran had been a police officer for many years, and this was the first time he felt so frustrated. Don't take it too seriously. I'll find a way to make Ian leave as soon as possible. He's a burden to me here. Okay, you're right. It seems like the plan to ambush him with snipers has to be put on hold for now. Gao Ran sighed slightly. Bro, cheer up. We'll have a war with Ian sooner or later. Trust me. Before Qin Chu left, he patted Gao Ran's shoulder. When Qin Chu returned from the city bureau, it was already late at night. The twins were already asleep. When he entered the bedroom, Huamin was already asleep. You're back. Huamin lazily turned over when he heard Huamin's voice. Honey, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. What do you want? Qin Chu gently kissed Huamin's forehead. We've been married for so long, why would I want a present? Huamin said half-heartedly. Okay then. Go to sleep. Qin Chu took off his shirt and hugged Huamin from behind. Russia, in a castle in the suburbs of Moscow. Tell Psycho Chow to get his ass over here. When he sees me, he'll... Lu Yen flipped the breakfast table over and the cutlery fell to the ground. Chapter 2386. A young lady, please calm down. The young master really isn't in Moscow right now. The butler was in a difficult position. Don't try to fool me with such lies. Who would believe that? Tell Psycho Chow that if he doesn't come to see me, I'll blow this place up. Lu Yen was losing her patience. Although Psycho Chow promised to help her take care of the situation in the country, she didn't know where that bastard was. No one told her what was going on in the country. Did that psycho Ian leave or not? Were her sister and the twins hurt? She felt that if she continued to live in Moscow she would go crazy. She didn't like the people in this country at all. People here rarely smiled and were cold to each other. Men were superior to women. Most of the men drank at home and had nothing to do. They let their wives go out to work and earn money. Luckily the Chow family was Chinese. Otherwise Lu Yen would rather die than have anything to do with Chow Fei. A young lady, I'm telling the truth. The butler was about to cry as he tried to explain to Lu Yen. Come on, I'm not a young lady. I'm not married yet. Don't flatter the Chow family. If you piss me off I'll blow this place up. Lu Yen was the opposite of Huamin. He had a bad temper. She would blow things up without saying anything. Studying explosives had been Lu Yan's hobby since she was a child. In the years when she was separated from her dad, she had to study all kinds of high-quality explosives to avoid being hunted down. In the beginning she felt guilty about blowing up one person. Later she didn't feel guilty about blowing up hundreds of people. Indeed, this required a very strong mental fortitude. Just then Lu Yan's phone rang. Like her dad's, her phone was the most advanced. The watch replaced everything. When she called, it would show the other party's virtual image. Lu Yen suppressed her anger and pressed the answer button. Chow Fei, who was wearing a Navy Russian military uniform, immediately appeared on the screen. Yen, don't bully the servants. Bully the servants? It's your servants who are bullying me. You're treating me like a prisoner. Chow Fei, do you want to die? Why did you leave me here alone? The temperature in Moscow is freezing. I'm not going to stay here anymore, okay? Lu Yen scolded him. But Chow Fei was not angry at all. Instead of answering Lu Yan's question, he said, your sister is fine and so are the twins. No more? What about Ian? Are you still in Sea City? Lu Yen was anxious. Yes, Chow Fei replied. No, I can't rest easy if he doesn't leave. Lu Yen was still worried when she heard that Ian hadn't left. Cheyenne, I'm in Brazil right now. I have something to discuss. If you're still worried when I get back, I'll accompany you to City C immediately. Is that okay? Chow Fei was only so patient with Lu Yen. He spoke as if he was coaxing a child. He thought Lu Yen wouldn't agree, but to his surprise she changed her mind. Alright, that's the only way. Come back quickly. Chow Fei hung up the phone after saying, a young lady, we didn't lie to you, right? Young master really isn't in Moscow, right? The butler looked wronged. Yeah. Lu Yen nodded thoughtfully. Then hurry up and eat breakfast. We'll make you a new one. Okay, go to your work. Lu Yen waved her hand and turned to go upstairs. Inside the bedroom, after confirming that there were no bugs, Lu Yen opened the contact list on her watch. She quietly dialed a number. Boss? Your orders? The man on the other end of the phone was respectful. Take Ghost 1 from my first safe and drop it in Ian's branch in Indonesia. Chapter 2387. Boss, you're going to use Ghost number 1? Yes. But you should know the power of Ghost number 1. Won't it cause chaos? This is the bomb I invented. How could I not know its power? I'm telling you to do it, just do it. Why are you spouting so much nonsense?
Lu Yen was furious. But, one more word and you'll disappear from the earth with ghost number 1, Lu Yen ordered. Okay boss, I'll do it right away. 5 hours later, Ian had just walked into a bar. Before he could sit down, he heard a report from one of his subordinates. Boss, half an hour ago, our branch in Indonesia was bombed by an unknown enemy. We suffered heavy losses. What did you say? Ian's face instantly darkened. Our branch in Indonesia was indeed attacked. The subordinate reported with a trembling voice. What weapon? Ian suppressed his anger. God knows how much effort he had put into the branch in Indonesia for the past 3 years. It's a very explosive bomb. I've never seen it before. It's probably the latest model. Our people retrieved the remains of the bomb and are still researching it. I believe we'll know the results and the composition of the bomb soon. After hearing this, Ian's face turned even uglier. As the leader of the world's top terrorist organization, he was most proud of his ability to create terrorist incidents. Most of the time he used bombs to bomb other people's territory, easily killing dozens of people. But now his territory was bombed. Moreover, the enemy used explosives, which he was most proficient in. It had to be said that this incident was a slap to Ian's face. In the past few years, the most talented people in his base were explosives experts. They could create all kinds of explosives. The reason why he wanted to capture Professor Lu and Lu Yen was because of their talents. Wait, Lu Yen? When he thought of this name, Ian gradually calmed down. It must be that damned girl Lu Yen. It must be her. Although Ian had a lot of enemies, other than Lu Yen, there was no one else who could locate his branch in Indonesia in such a short amount of time and use the latest explosives. We also suspect that Second Miss did it, but we haven't caught the person carrying the bomb yet. As long as we catch her, we'll know if it's her or not. There's no doubt about it. Must be her. Seriously, I haven't been chasing her so hard recently, and she took the initiative to come to me. Haha, it seems like I was too kind to her before. A cold light flashed in Ian's eyes. He had fought with Lu Yen many times in the past few years, but he always wanted to capture her alive, not wanting to endanger her safety. That was why Lu Yen managed to escape every time. The last time on the plane was the closest he had ever gotten to Lu Yen. Initially he thought that it was a sure thing, but Professor Lu, who was in disguise, intercepted him and rescued him. It seemed that this father and daughter pair were not easy to deal with. Sir, should we give the order to kill the Second Miss? Ian's subordinate asked cautiously. Kill order? No, I still don't want her to die. After all, she's the only toy I've been interested in the past few years. I must catch her and teach her a lesson. Otherwise, I won't be able to get rid of the hatred in my heart. After speaking, Ian downed the whiskey in his glass and turned to leave. The absolute kill order was the highest secret order of Ian's terrorist organization. Once the absolute kill order was issued, once the order was given, the hundreds of elites in the terrorist organization would search the entire world for the target and kill them at all costs. They would even use suicide bombers to take the target down with them. This was the scariest thing about the terrorists. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that they were anti-human. Ian left the bar in a hurry, no longer in the mood to hunt women. Sir, should we go find Mr. Hua now? Chapter 2388. No, we'll leave immediately. Ian didn't care about a small fry like Hua Xiqian. He had already made it very clear that he would only give Hua Xiqian 1 month. He believed that Hua Xiqian would make a decision. Regardless of whether or not Hua Xiqian brought people with him, Ian and Hua Xiqian would have a final outcome. Half an hour later, the helicopter arrived at international waters. Ian and his subordinates took a speedboat and boarded the helicopter. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. When Gao Ran's men received the news and rushed to the harbor, they were already gone. When Gao Ran heard that Ian had left, he felt as if a huge rock had been lifted off his chest. He even called Qin Chu. 2 in the morning, Chu. What time is it now? Qin Chu answered the phone in a daze. He was quite dissatisfied. I have good news for you. Ian left the city. Gao Ran's voice was filled with joy. After all, they had finally gotten rid of the plague. Oh, is that so? Qin Chu was a lot more awake after hearing the news. The news is accurate. When our men found out, they had already left. They took a speedboat to international waters and then a helicopter came to pick them up. They flew directly to the south. I don't know why that guy suddenly changed his mind. But this time, I'll ask the customs to tighten security so that foreigners can't enter the country so easily. Gao Ran emphasized. That won't work. If Ian wanted to come, he could easily come. But what I want to know is, now that Ian is gone, what are you going to do about the people who died? The higher-ups are still pressuring you. How are you going to deal with it? Qin Chu knew that Gao Ran's position was very difficult. He couldn't possibly tell his superiors the whole story about Ian, and no one would believe him anyway. I've discussed it with my boss, and we can only catch some wanted criminals and use them as scapegoats. This case has to be closed or else people will panic. That's a good idea. Well, you don't have to worry so much. Now I can finally have a good night's sleep. Gao Ran smiled and hung up the phone. Qin Chu hung up the phone and turned around. He saw that Huamin had also woken up. It's already so late. Who's calling? Huamin wasn't suspicious of Qin Chu because of what Jixin had told her before. She was just afraid that he was hiding something from her, so she was quite vigilant. Gao Ran, really? Could it be that some woman is pestering my husband? Huamin smiled mysteriously. Is your husband that untrustworthy? Qin Chu took the phone and let Huamin look at the call history. You didn't save that woman's name in Gao Ran's account to confuse the public, did you? Huamin's imagination ran wild. Qin Chu was speechless. Honey, it's the middle of the night. Why aren't you sleeping? Are you trying to cause trouble? Qin Chu chuckled. True. Did you do something behind my back? Huamin reached out her index finger and tapped Qin Chu's lips. Why don't you call this number and you'll know if it's really Gao Ran or if I saved it on purpose. Qin Chu looked at Huamin amused. No way. I'll keep playing dumb. If it really is a woman's voice, I'll be sad. Huamin pursed her lips. Yeah, you're right. It's possible to hear a woman's voice. Qin Chu said on purpose. Chapter 2389. You confessed without being pressed, didn't you? Huamin pouted. I'm not done yet. Why are you in such a hurry? What I mean is, if you call Gao Ran's number and a woman picks up, it must be Zhu Lingling. Qin Chu explained. Huamin turned her head away. Obviously, her husband had brushed her off. However, she put her finger on Mr. Qin's lips. What was the meaning of this? Qin Chu opened his mouth and sucked on her pale finger. Instantly, a tingling sensation spread throughout her body. Hey, what are you doing? Are you a puppy? Huamin felt ticklish and tried to pull her finger back, but Qin Chu bit down on it tightly. He controlled his strength perfectly so she didn't feel any pain. However, she couldn't pull her finger back. Huamin wanted to continue protesting, but she realized that her pajamas had been taken off without her noticing. Immediately she was naked. Hey? She didn't have a chance to finish her sentence because before she could, Qin Chu pounced on her. With Ian's departure, Qin Chu's guard was instantly lifted. On a night like this, he just wanted to enjoy the world with Huamian. On the other hand, Gao Ran was in a good mood. After discussing the scapegoat plan with his boss, he typed out a detailed report on his computer and prepared to give the bosses in the province an explanation. By the time he finished, it was already 3 a.m. When he walked out of his office, he realized that his subordinates were still at work and were forcing themselves to stay awake. You guys haven't left yet? Gao Ran was surprised. Chief Gao, you haven't left yet. How could we chase you away? The young policeman flattered him. Ahem. Okay, then I'll announce that the murderer of the murder case has been arrested and the case is closed. You guys can go home and sleep now. You've all worked overtime recently, so I'll treat you guys to dinner tomorrow night. Chief Gao, is what you said true? You're not lying to us, are you? When have I ever lied to you? Gao Ran rolled his eyes at them. But boss, when and where were the culprits caught? Because the people who were tracking Ian were all first-class special police officers, it was all confidential. These junior officers in the office didn't know and Gao Ran didn't plan to let them know. Well, when the murderer was on the loose in another province, he was jointly arrested by our special police and the foreign criminal police. Anyway, this matter is considered closed. Everyone, don't worry, let's get off work. After Gao Ran said this, the office was filled with cheers. After that, Gao Ran dragged his tired body out of the police station and drove the black Jaguar home. Fortunately, the house was very close. They arrived in a few minutes. When Gao Ran entered the room, he found that the light in the bedroom was still on. He was afraid that he would disturb his wife and son's sleep, so he tried to be as gentle as possible. Zhu Lingling opened the door and came out in blue cotton pajamas. You're back. Why aren't you asleep yet? Look at the time. Gao Ran turned around and saw Zhu Lingling's dark circles and his heart ached for her. I was worried about you. I couldn't sleep. Zhu Lingling pouted. Where's Boying? I sent him to Mom's place. It's not very peaceful these days. After all, Dad used to be a leader and he retired with bodyguards, so it's safer for him to live there. So I sent Boying there. Ha, you're smart. Why didn't you go with him? I don't want to miss you and your son. Chapter 2390. What are you going to do if I'm gone? I'm going to wait for you at home. Zhu Lingling had been feeling uneasy lately. As a family member of a police officer, she had to put in more effort than normal people. She was constantly worried that her husband would be in danger, but she didn't know who to talk to. Although Zhu Lingling was usually loud and boisterous, she was actually quite meticulous. She was also completely devoted to Gao Ran. Are so silly. I'm the director, how could anything happen to me? I'm just drinking tea in my office and reading the newspaper. When there's a case, I'll analyze the situation, give orders, and come up with a plan. How could I be in danger? Gao Ran casually explained with a smile. Don't pretend, we've known each other for so many years. We've known each other for as long as Mian and Qin Chu have known each other. Do you think I don't know you? You're not a coward who only knows how to comfort himself and is afraid of death. When you get angry, you're even fiercer than a northeastern tiger. Don't think that I don't know. When I brought you food, I heard from the police officers that you've been out on missions. If you run into that psychopathic murderer, you could get into a gunfight with him at any time. Zhu Lingling choked up when she said this. God knew how scared she was. Gao Ran's heart softened at the sight of his wife, who was usually a tough woman, acting like a fragile child. He walked back and gently hugged Zhu Lingling in his arms. Lingling, don't worry, I'm back in one piece, right? Gao Ran comforted her. Bullshit, how can I not worry? You're my husband. If anything happens to you, I'll be a widow. No, you're still young and beautiful. Can you find another husband? Gao Ran teased her. To his surprise, Zhu Lingling was so agitated that she raised her fist and punched Gao Ran. Stop talking nonsense, I'll kill you. Honey, are you trying to break a rock on my chest? Fuck off. Zhu Lingling wiped her tears and smiled. You haven't slept or changed your clothes for the past few days. I'm so worried. Go take a shower. Zhu Lingling pushed Gao Ran into the bathroom. Why are you in such a hurry for me to take a shower? Are you trying to hint at something? Gao Ran smirked. Don't think too much. I'm just annoyed that you stink, okay? Zhu Lingling's face a little bit red. I'm not overthinking it, I think Boyan is too lonely. Our country's family to have a second child's all. As to have a child, to have a baby, to have a baby? You're to have a baby. Zhu to have a baby. Hua to have a baby, 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 baby you to have to do that. You're to have a baby, to have a baby, to have a baby. Zhu huddled to be, to have a baby? Come on, I'm serious. Qin Chu and Huamin are both planning to have a second child. We can't fall behind. Maybe we'll be in-laws if we have a second child. Haha, then half of the GK Corporation will be ours. We'll become rich instantly. Gao Ran teased. In your dreams, Mian didn't say she wanted a second child. She's just going with the flow, okay? Then let's go with the flow. Gao Ran was already at the door of the bathroom, but he suddenly walked back. He stuck himself onto Zhu Lingling's body and moved his hands up and down her body flirtatiously. Hey, what are you doing? Why aren't you taking a shower? Zhu Lingling knew what he was doing, but she still refused to admit it. I'll take a shower after we're done. Otherwise, it'll be a waste of all the work I've been doing lately. Honey, it's time for you to serve me. Gao Ran pressed Zhu Lingling down onto the sofa, and the air was filled with love. It was without a doubt a perfect night to have a baby. However, some people were happy while others were sad. Lu Yen used the ghost number 1 to blow up Ian's Indonesian branch, causing a huge commotion that even affected the Indonesian government. Therefore, she was listed as public enemy number 1 by Ian and the Indonesian government. Late at night, Lu Yen wore a black windbreaker and left Qiao Fei's castle with her simple luggage. Moscow International Airport. Lu Yen was waiting in line to board the plane when someone suddenly pressed down on her shoulder, startling her. Chapter 2391. Lu Yen reacted quickly. The moment she turned around,
The gun in her right hand was already aimed at the man's waist. Because of the loose coat, she didn't attract the attention of the passers-by. Qiao Fei. Lu Yan froze when she saw that it was Qiao Fei behind her. Then she quickly put away her gun. Where are you going? Qiao Fei's gaze was no longer gentle and doting. Instead it was filled with anger. Leaving this place. I'm running around. Lu Yan licked her lips, unperturbed. Do you like living like this? Qiao Fei asked. Huh, what's the difference if I like it or not? I'm used to it anyways. Lu Yan had been separated from her father ever since she was young because of her identity. Speaking of which, she had to hide her identity. Back when she was studying at West Point in America, it was one of the most peaceful years of her life. After she graduated, she gathered her friends and formed a mercenary group. In just a few years, she rose up in the industry and became one of the top mercenary groups in the world. Because of this, Lu Yan was given a famous nickname, Second Young Mistress. In the world of mercenaries and assassins, not many people knew about Lu Yan. Second Young Mistress was like thunder to one's ears. Some legends about this girl had been circulating in the industry. She even became the idol of many newcomers, and the object of worship. Come back with me. Qiao Fei grabbed Lu Yan's hand and walked out, suppressing the anger in his heart. Let go of me, I'm not going back. Lu Yan struggled to break free. Do you want to die? Do you know how much trouble you've caused? Qiao Fei gritted his teeth and looked at Lu Yan. Even though he was furious, he couldn't bear to scold her. I know I didn't blow up Ian's branch. It's not like I blew up his base. What's there to be afraid of? Lu Yan had always been fearless. Even if the king of hell came, she would still be like this. She had been on the edge of a knife since she was young and was used to being arrogant. That's not all. You've also attracted the attention of the Indonesian government and the spies of various Western countries. I heard that the Indonesian government has already offered $1 billion for your head. Qiao Fei was just short of saying, Yen, you need to be more careful. $1 billion? So fucking stingy. My head is only worth $1 billion. You're underestimating me. Lu Yan didn't seem to care about the bounty on her head. Instead, she blamed the other party for paying too little. $1 billion. That's the highest price in the industry. Yen, your life. All the assassins in the world are after you. You've become everyone's target. I promise you that as soon as you leave Russia, no matter where you go, you'll be hunted down. Qiao Fei calmly analyzed the situation for him. Isn't that normal? I've been living like this since I was a kid. It'd be weird if no one tried to kill me one day. Lu Yan chewed on her gum, not minding Qiao Fei's words at all. So, you don't care if you live or die, do you? Qiao Fei could tell that this lady was going to risk her life. If I was afraid of death, Lu Yan wouldn't be who she is today. Psycho Qiao, is this your first day meeting me? Don't ask such an idiotic question, okay? The little girl retorted. Qiao Fei was furious. But that wasn't what angered him the most. What angered him the most was what Lu Yan said next. Chapter 2392. Psycho Qiao. Thank you for taking me in during this time. But I'm leaving now. If I'm lucky enough to survive, I'll definitely thank you properly when I get the chance. Oh right, I've already ordered someone to ship the batch of firearms I intercepted in Mexico to you on a cruise ship. The captain is a very reliable friend of mine. You can feel free to accept the goods. According to the market price, that batch of goods is worth a few $100 million. But this time I'll give it to you for free. Just treat it as my accommodation and food expenses. Bye-bye. Then Lu Yan pulled down the black cap on her head and turned to walk into the crowd, eager to board the plane. Do you even have a heart? Qiao Fei looked at the girl's back with heartache, feeling terrible. Young master, what should we do now? Seeing Qiao Fei's face turn green with anger, his subordinates became anxious as well. Stop her. Do whatever it takes. Qiao Fei knew very well what Lu Yan would face after leaving Russia. He would never let her take that risk. Whether she wanted to or not, she had to stay in Russia at this sensitive time. After Qiao Fei gave the order, his subordinates rushed up and attacked Lu Yan. What do you want? Lu Yan looked at them warily. Young madam, we're sorry. The few of them rushed forward. Lu Yan was about to board the plane but was stopped by them. She was furious. She fought with these people at the airport, and the airport security and the police came immediately. When they saw Qiao Fei, they stopped immediately. My people are working. I don't need you to interfere. Back off. Qiao Fei shouted coldly. The police and security all backed off dozens of meters. Lu Yan saw that she would miss the plane if she was stopped. She had no choice but to take out her pistol. I don't want to shoot. Don't force me. Let me go. Lu Yan had just finished speaking when she felt a numbing sensation on her neck. It turned out that one of Qiao Fei's subordinates who was good at using hidden weapons had used a few tranquilizer needles on her. Lu Yan thought they were on her side and didn't want to fight with them, so she was careless and fell to the ground. Qiao Fei immediately rushed up and hugged her tightly before she fell to the ground. Let's go home. Then he said 2 words. After settling Lu Yan down, Qiao Fei called Lu Yan's father, Professor Lu. Then he called Qin Chu and told him about the trouble Lu Yan had caused. He also told him that Ian wouldn't go to Sea City for the time being. To be honest, Qin Chu was to be shocked. He didn't know how powerful Ghost Number 1 was, but to make Ian to leave Sea City, to leave it must have been very destructive. Lu Yan's used this method to protect her sister and the twins to protect her to put herself and the twins to herself. However, he also put himself in danger. If Huamian knew about this, she would be devastated. Lu was to Lu Hun Hun, Lu Hua to leave to die to die to go to's her. Then don't tell my sister. Lu Yan's temper. I don't know what she's like, but I know she wants to protect my sister and the kids at all costs. To me two of the two of a two of to have to. To Lu of a s's. Brother-in-law, we're all family. There's no need to be so polite. What should we do now? Lu Yan must be in danger, right? Qin Chu was still worried when he heard that the Indonesian government had offered $1 billion for Lu Yan's life. Chapter 2393. As long as she stays in Russia, no one will dare to do anything to her. Don't worry, I'll take care of her. After hanging up with Qin Chu, one of his subordinates came to report, Young master, Miss Yan woke up and wants you to go over. Qiao Fei nodded and went into the bedroom. Lu Yan was still under the effects of the anesthetic, so she couldn't get up from the bed and had no strength left in her body. As soon as Qiao Fei entered the room, she started yelling at him. Psycho Qiao, do you want to die? How dare you use anesthetic on me? Do you want water? Qiao Fei ignored Lu Yan's question and asked. Drink my ass. Let me go. Otherwise I'll blow up your base. Do you believe me? Those who knew Lu Yan knew that she was a girl who would use bombs whenever she felt like it. Furthermore, they never boasted. Basically, they would bomb whoever they wanted, just like the branch that Ian had painstakingly built in Indonesia. Lu Yan's Ghost Number 1 could blow it up in a matter of minutes. Although the repercussions were huge and the consequences weren't ideal, Lu Yan had always been someone who didn't care about the consequences. Unlike Huamin, Lu Yan was more impulsive and would do whatever she wanted to do. Huamin, on the other hand, would calmly analyze the situation and make a decision after weighing the pros and cons. Yan, you can't leave. Qiao Fei looked at her seriously. If I don't leave, am I supposed to be a coward here for the rest of my life? Lu Yan retorted. So what? It's not like I can't afford to raise you, Qiao Fei replied slowly. I'm speechless. Psycho Qiao, are you trying to put me under house arrest? If that's how you see it, I won't argue with you. My dad won't like you if you treat me like this. Let me tell you, I already called the professor and told him that you're safe. He also told you to stay here. What the? How could you do that? Do you have any humanity left? Let me tell you, my subordinates know that I'm locked up here and will come to save me. They'll make a mess of your life. Lu Yan tried to scare him. I won't give your subordinates any chance to enter the country. You. Lu Yan almost rolled her eyes. She was the queen of mercenaries, the famous 2nd Mississippi. She was actually ambushed by this perverted guy with an anesthetic and then inexplicably put under house arrest. Seeing that force didn't work, Lu Yan decided to change her strategy. She smiled gently at Qiao Fei and said, Brother Qiao Fei, you can't treat me like this. Can't we talk things over? How barbaric of you to lock me up like this. Ahem. Qiao Fei's subordinates' eyes almost fell out of their sockets when they saw Lu Yan's expression. Why did such gentle words sound so creepy when they came out of Lu Yan's mouth? However, Qiao Fei was still very calm. He was not tempted by the sugar-coated bullets. What do you want to eat for lunch? How about steak? Don't you like shrimp dumplings the most? I've invited the Cantonese chef from my dad's place to cook for you, okay? Lu Yan suppressed her anger. Then she smiled like a blooming flower. But I promise you that I'll eat my lunch. After that you let me go, okay? No. Xiao Fei refused without hesitation. I really want to shoot you. Lu Yan couldn't keep up the act anymore. If she wasn't under the influence of the anesthetic, she would have jumped up and punched Xiao Fei in the face. His indifferent attitude was infuriating. Chapter 2394. Young Master. Old Master wants you to go to the old mansion and take care of some things, the subordinate whispered into Xiao Fei's ear. Okay. Xiao Fei nodded and got up to leave. Xiao Fei. Lu Yan called out unwillingly. Xiao Fei stopped in his tracks but didn't turn around. His silver hair looked even more dazzling under the sunlight. Who would have thought that such a handsome, cold and handsome young man would be the young master of Russia's largest Chinese mafia? He was a bloodthirsty young man who could kill people by himself since he was 7 years old. He and Lu Yan had a similar childhood and life, which was why they were so close to each other. Therefore, when he saw Lu Yan for the first time, he thought she might be the missing rib in his body. Once a person has something that they care about, something that they are determined to do, and someone that they are determined to love deeply, the person that they are determined to love deeply, their life would be much better. To Xiao Fei, Lu Yan was his life's goal. She was the only person who made him feel like there was something beautiful in the world. However, that girl didn't know how important she was to him. Seeing that Xiao Fei was about to leave and that she was going to be locked up again, Lu Yan became anxious. She tried to convince Xiao Fei, so she put away her usual playful side and said seriously, Xiao Fei, you can't take me in, I'll bring you trouble. Ian won't stop hunting me down. I pissed him off this time so he won't let me go. The Indonesian government won't let me go either. With a $1 billion bounty on my head, I think all the assassins in the world will be willing to take my head. If you keep me, I'll be a burden to you. So let me go, really. She added the word really at the end to emphasize that she wasn't joking. She was very serious. After Xiao Fei heard this, he fell silent for 3 seconds. Then he turned to look at Lu Yan and his eyes gradually softened. If I was afraid, I wouldn't have taken you in from the beginning. Yan, remember, if one day the whole world betrays you, then I will betray the whole world with you. After saying this, Xiao Fei turned around and walked out of the room. Lu Yan was left behind, dumbfounded. Is this guy confessing to me? Lu Yan was dumbfounded. A young lady, our young master loves you wholeheartedly. I've never seen him treat any woman so well. Of course, the only woman who could get close to him, other than his late mother, is you. You have to cherish him. The butler who stayed behind to take care of Lu Yan wanted to defend Xiao Fei. Lu Yan took a deep breath. In fact, she knew that Xiao Fei was being kind by letting her stay, but if she continued to stay, the Qiao family will definitely be in big trouble. Russia will not be a permanent harbor. In the past, Ian wasn't willing to come to Russia to capture people because he was wary of the Qiao family's influence and didn't want to offend them. But this time she had caused such a big trouble. Ian would definitely be furious. When he went crazy, why would he care about the Qiao family? Besides, as the leader of the mercenary world, it wasn't Lu Yan's style to be a coward. With her fiery temper, she would rather die in battle than hide behind others and drag out an ignoble existence. 5 a.m. in the morning, Huamin and Qin Chu drove Tang Chuan and Qin Ning to the airport. Chapter 2395. By the time they drove back, Uncle Li had already prepared breakfast for them. As the couple enjoyed their breakfast, Qin Chu remembered what Gao Ran told him last night. He glanced at Huamin and said, Ian already left. That fast. Huamin was surprised, and her hand that was holding the bread and butter paused slightly. What? You sound like you don't want him to leave. Qin Chu teased her. Nonsense, I'm not. I just don't think he came here for a vacation. Maybe he's here for something. He killed so many people in a row. Why would he leave so easily? He's not scared of the police, is he? Huamian guessed. Of course not. Why would someone like him be scared of the police? Then what is he doing? That's weird. Huamin lowered her head and pondered. Qin Chu didn't dare to tell Huamin that Lu Yan did it because she would be worried about Lu Yan. So he gave her a perfunctory answer. Someone like Ian wouldn't be so free. He's a terrorist who wants the whole world to fall into chaos. So he must be interested in something else. That's why he left. It's great. We don't have to worry about him anymore. It's just that, it's such a pity for the innocent people who died. Ian killed so many people and got away with it. I really don't like it. And Mo Schwerer, she's so unlucky. I never thought that she would die in Ian's hands. Someone like Ian will be punished by the heavens sooner or later. Chin Chu comforted Huamin. Honey, can I go back to work now? Huamin asked excitedly as soon as the alarm was lifted. Yeah, you can go back to work tomorrow, Chin Chu answered as he ate his fried egg slowly. Why not today? Huamin's eyes widened. Come with me to a place today. We have a lot of things to do. Where? Huamin's curiosity was immediately piqued. Before Chin Chu could answer, he heard footsteps behind him. It turned out that his parents and the twins were awake. Daddy and Mommy are getting out of hand. They always sneak in here and don't even call us. Little Bean walked down with sleepy eyes. Her pigtails were sticking out, making her look very funny. It's all because you guys woke up late. We have to go to work, so of course we ate earlier. Huamin looked at Little Bean and smiled. Daddy, hug me. Little Bean approached Chin Chu and opened her chubby arms. Chin Chu dotingly picked up his daughter. Little Bean kissed Chin Chu on the cheek. Good morning, Daddy. I love you. Hey, Little Bean is acting weird today. What's going on? Did you get into trouble? Huamin felt that something was wrong when he saw his daughter act like a spoiled child and confess to her daddy in all sorts of ways. You're drooling all over my face. Little Bean. Chin Chu looked at his daughter, amused. Daddy, the flatterer is kissing up to you again. It's a trap. Little Bean sat down beside Huamin obediently and reminded her dad with a smile. Daddy, don't listen to her. I slept really well last night and I'm in a really good mood. That's why I'm acting like this. Little Bean explained. Chin Chu gave her a knowing look. Daddy, I want to eat that grilled sausage. Little Bean pointed at it. Chin Chu immediately picked up the sausage with a fork and put it in front of his daughter's mouth. Be careful, it's hot. He gently reminded her. Chapter 2396. Seeing how patient Chin Chu was, Huamin suddenly felt that people who thought Chin Chu was cold and unapproachable didn't know him at all. In front of his daughter, he could throw away all his principles and willingly become her slave. Daddy, are you working today? Little Bean asked as she ate the sausage. What do you want to do? Chin Chu asked. Oh, I'm obsessed with a TV show. The male lead bought a hoverbike for his daughter. Oh, it's so cool. I was thinking, what's there to show off? I'm sure you'll buy one for me too. Although it's only a few thousand yuan, you're rich. Oh, you're super rich. You won't care about a few thousand yuan, right? Here's the main point. A hoverbike. Huamin laughed. Mommy, what do you think? Am I right? Little Bean definitely has a motive for kissing up to you, Pudding said proudly as she looked at Huamin. Of course, you're the one who knows your sister the best. Huamin gave Pudding a thumbs up. Daddy, you'll sell it to me and Sis, right? Sis really wants it too. Seeing that her daddy didn't say anything, Little Bean was afraid that he wouldn't agree, so she immediately brought up her sister. Little Bean, if you want a hoverbike, you're dragging me down with you. That's not very nice of you. Pudding expressed her dissatisfaction. Little Bean immediately gave her a look that said, Sis, please cooperate with me. Other than hoverbikes, is there anything else? Chin Chu asked calmly. Of course. Daddy, it'd be best if you buy a few more. After all, I have friends now and I have to protect my circle of friends. Little Bean smiled innocently. Circle of friends? You mean not only will I buy one for you and Sis, but I'll also buy a few more for you to give to your friends, right? Chin Chu asked. Daddy, you're so smart. Your IQ is so high, just like mine. After Little Bean said that, Huamin and Pudding almost burst out laughing. Even their grandparents couldn't hold it in anymore. What are you guys laughing at? Little Bean was a little embarrassed. As the one with the lowest IQ in the family, how can you brag here? Pudding retorted. Sis, if you want to talk like this, I don't want to listen. Do you still want to have fun together in the future? Little Bean, let's get back to business. If you want a hoverbike, no problem. First, tell me, who do you want to give it to? Chin Chu looked at his daughter and asked in all seriousness. For big sister? Little Bean stammered. Don't drag me into this. Okay? Tell me the truth. Pudding stared at her. Daddy, don't ask. Are you going to buy it or not? Little Bean asked embarrassedly. Then she looked a little angry. Seeing his daughter like this, Huamin couldn't help but say for her, Honey, just buy it. She must want to give it to Boing. Mommy, I like your high IQ. Pudding gave her a thumbs up. Is Buyuan the son of Gao Ran? Mrs. Qin interrupted. Grandma, let's eat. Little Bean was completely embarrassed. Oh, you want to give it to Buyuan? Daddy will buy 4. Other than you and your sister, I'll also buy 1 for Buyuan and Yunchu. Qinchu was very generous. Wow, Daddy, you're so generous. Little Bean was so happy that she hugged her daddy's neck and kissed him. Little Bean, you're using Daddy's money to give Buyuan a Valentine's Day gift. Where's your shame? Pudding asked. Chapter 2397. How can you do that? When I grow up and earn money, I'll pay Daddy back. Little Bean retorted. Suddenly, Huamin realized something. Today's Valentine's Day? Mommy, you're so slow. The twins looked at Huamin with disdain. But looking at you, I'm sure you didn't prepare a Valentine's Day present for Daddy. Little Bean guessed. I really forgot. I didn't know today was Valentine's Day. How did it happen so fast? Huamin was embarrassed. Daddy, it seems like you don't need to prepare a present for Mommy. You two are even. Little Bean laughed. Pudding interrupted. He won't. From what I know about Daddy, he definitely won't forget. He might even prepare a surprise for Mommy. You two go upstairs and get changed. Qin Chu didn't want the twins to cause any more trouble. Hey, but do we have any plans today? Little Bean asked Pudding excitedly. Yeah, I want to go see Handsome Sue. Pudding drank a glass of milk as she walked upstairs. I don't think that's a good idea. Let's not bother Handsome Sue on Valentine's Day. He's single and poor enough. Daddy has Mommy, Uncle Wei has Auntie Xiao Wei, Uncle Gao has Auntie Lingling, Auntie has Uncle Tang, Uncle and Yang has Auntie Jia, and even our most honest Uncle Jixin is about to get Auntie Bella. Only Handsome Sue is single. I feel bad for him. Pudding felt even sadder after hearing Little Bean's analysis. So I want to go see Handsome Sue. I can't let him spend Valentine's Day alone. What about Wei Yunchu? Come on. We're still so young. Why do we need to spend Valentine's Day together? You insisted on giving Buyuan a hoverbike because you felt guilty for eating so much of his food last time. Don't think I don't know. Pudding saw through Little Bean's little plan. Sis, you know me the best. If that's the case, let's both go see Handsome Sue. Hey, I'll call him and ask him to pick us up. Then she sent a video call to Suyu. Suyu had just arrived at Imperial Star's headquarters. He was in his office packing up the documents, preparing for the morning meeting. Pudding, Handsome Sue, are you free today? What is it? The two of us want to go over and play with you. Today? See. I have a few meetings to attend today. I'll see when I'm done. If it's early, I'll pick you up. If it's late, I won't go. So you didn't know that today was Valentine's Day. Alright then. I'll contact you later. After hanging up the phone, Suyu took the documents and walked out. When he passed by the administrative office, he heard a group of female colleagues whispering. Hey, do you know? This year's Valentine's Day is very strange. I can't even buy roses. Aw, can't be, right? How is that possible? Another girl expressed her surprise. True. I don't know what's going on. My boyfriend went to buy flowers today but didn't find roses in the florist shop. In the end, he had to buy me lilies, and these teddy bears. The girl said with a pout as she held a bunch of lilies in her hands. That's strange. What's going on? Are roses banned? Or did something happen? The women whispered among themselves and didn't notice Suyu walking past them. Is today Valentine's Day? Suyu turned around and asked in confusion after hearing the female colleague's words. Chapter 2398. President Su, I'm not sure either, and said innocently. After all, and had always been single. Suyu cleared his throat and took out his phone to check the calendar. It really was the 14th. It was Valentine's Day. No wonder the two kids called him this morning to keep him company. They didn't want him to feel lonely. Thinking of this, Suyu smiled and walked into the conference room with the documents in his hand. When he came out, it was already 2 hours later. President Su, a gentle voice came from behind him. Suyu turned around and saw Nye Lingxian, whom he hadn't seen in a long time. As the #1 actress in Imperial Star, she had replaced Jian Tong's position. The number of movies and commercials she accepted this year was more than what she had accepted in the previous 5 years. In Cece's words, her sister was going to be famous soon. All she needed was a famous movie. Yeah, I was injured a while ago, right? I'm really sorry that I delayed a lot of work. Nie Lingxian apologized to Su Yu in a low voice. It's okay. Your health is more important. President Su, this is for you. Nie Lingxian mustered up her courage and took out an exquisite box from her bag. What's this? Su Yu frowned slightly but didn't reach out to take it. He wasn't someone who accepted gifts easily, especially when he didn't know the other party's intentions. Don't get me wrong. It's not expensive. I made it myself, with the oven. Tastes pretty good. I heard that President Su likes chocolate, so I made some. There are no additives and it's very healthy. I hope you don't mind it. It's also a thank you for taking care of me all this time. You're too kind. You're my employee. It's normal for me to take care of you, Su Yu said in a formal tone. President Su, please accept it. Nie Lingxian was a very shy girl. She was very nervous, so she held the box with both hands and bowed to Su Yu. It made Su Yu feel very awkward. People came and went in the office and everyone looked at them strangely. In the end, Su Yu had no choice but to take it. Thank you for your gift. After speaking, Su Yu turned around and walked into his office. She placed the chocolates on the desk without any intention of opening them. Su Yu bit her lip and turned on her phone's screensaver. The female doctor who wore a white coat and colored glasses was still his obsession for the past 4 years. Happy Valentine's Day, Dr. Hua. During the 4 Valentine's Days when Qin Chu wasn't around, Su Yu would try his best to send Huamin gifts every year to make her happy. Although she never accepted Valentine's Day gifts, Su Yu still felt happy to be able to accompany her. But this year, President Su, aren't you going to prepare a gift for President Hua this year? And asked. Go give the box of hairy crabs that someone gave me yesterday to Huamian. Other than giving her her favorite seafood, Su Yu knew that there was nothing else he could do for her. At this moment, Qin Ning and Tang Chuan were already on their way back to the United States. She thought that her beautiful Valentine's Day could only be spent on a boring long-distance flight. Who knew? Qin Ning took a nap and woke up to find that Tang Chuan was gone. Where did this guy go? Did he go to the bathroom? Qin Ning was puzzled. Just then, a familiar voice sounded on the plane's radio. Dear passengers, I'm sorry to take up a little of your time. Today is Valentine's Day and I really want to sing a song for my beloved girlfriend. For her. It was the first time Qin Ning heard Tang Chuan speak in such a perfect English voice, and her heart immediately raced. Ning Ning, are you listening? He asked. Chapter 2399. Qin Ning's heart was filled with excitement. She never would have thought that Tang Chuan would do something like this. It was a huge surprise. Wow, whose boyfriend is this? He's so romantic. Some of the female passengers on the plane began to whisper. Qin Ning was filled with pride. She pursed her lips and lowered her head as she smiled shyly. She didn't know how Tang Chuan convinced the flight crew to use the radio to fool around. But she was sure that this young master was a romantic. He was much more romantic than young Master Su and young Master Wei. Just then a beautiful melody began to play, followed by Tang Chuan's slightly raspy voice. As soon as he opened his mouth, it was breathtaking. Qin Ning was envious when she heard her brother sing for Huamian. She heard that Su Yu also sang for Huamian for the first time at the anniversary celebration. Although she wasn't there at the time, she could imagine the romantic atmosphere. On the 8th of January, she witnessed Ni Yang and Qin Jie's wedding at the Yunding Mountain Hot Springs Hotel. As a professional singer, Ni Yang's voice was even more refreshing. However, to her surprise, as soon as Tang Chuan opened his mouth, Qin Ning felt like her heart was going to melt. She didn't expect such a carefree and frivolous man to sing so beautifully. Even the surrounding passengers couldn't help but scream. Wow, it's so nice. This guy is so nice to his girlfriend, so romantic. Such a nice boyfriend is usually someone else's. We can forget about it. This is Wang Lihom's Big City, Small Love. This song is my favorite. He sang it so well. Compliments kept coming from the surrounding passengers. Qin Ning sat in the first-class cabin. Her hands tightly gripped the blanket as if she was nervous, shy, and sweet. Then she closed her eyes and listened intently to every word Tang Chuan sang for her. My head is full of you, my heart is full of you, my little love is so sweet in the big city, my thoughts are all about you, everything is you, my little love is in the big city, my heart is only for you. After finishing the song, Tang Chuan slowly said, Ning Ning, I won't promise you that we'll be together forever. Because if a promise doesn't come true, then it's just empty words. So I'm willing to use my actions to prove it. I'm willing to use the rest of my life to prove my feelings. In the future we'll walk together. No matter what, I won't let go. Qin Ning's eyes were filled with tears. She was brought up by her father since she was young. Not only was she independent, but she was also very strong-willed. She had never been in a serious relationship in her entire life. When she was in school, there were many people who chased after her and adored her. However, she always refused because she prioritized her studies. After she started working, she became the chairman's daughter and the only woman on the board of directors. Her domineering aura made all the men who had fallen for her forget to take a step further. In fact, although Qin Ning didn't have to worry about food and clothing for the past 20 years, her love life was a complete blank. Even if she went to a friend's party, she would feel like a lonely person. Now Tang Chuan was slowly filling the emptiness in her heart without any warning. He let her know that happiness could come from the heart and even overflow. When Tang Chuan walked out and returned to his seat, all the passengers on the plane applauded him. There was even an American couple. The old lady praised him in English. "Young man, you're good." Tang Chuan nodded and thanked everyone. When he returned to his seat, he saw that Qin Ning's eyes were red. At that time he was even shocked. Chapter 2400. Oh my God, what's going on? My dear lady, was my singing that bad? You scared me to tears. Tang Chuan asked. Qin Ning was teased by him and her tears immediately turned into laughter. It's not like that. Don't tease me, Qin Ning said as she wiped her tears. Hey, why are you crying? If I didn't know any better, I would have thought that I was bullying you. Today is Valentine's Day, can we be a little happier? After speaking, Tang Chuan pressed the button. A beautiful stewardess walked over and asked with a smile, "What would you like?" 2 glasses of red wine. Thank you. Tang Chuan was in a very good mood and he really wanted to drink with Qin Ning. After a while, the stewardess brought over the red wine and Tang Chuan carefully took it. He put 1 glass in front of him and handed the other to Qin Ning. Come Ning Ning, let's drink. Qin Ning took the glass and glanced at Tang Chuan. You sing really well. Really? If it's good, I'll sing it for you often. After speaking, Tang Chuan continued, I'll sing for you every Valentine's Day, okay? Qin Ning suddenly felt even sweeter. She didn't say anything and she just nodded shyly. Come here. Tang Chuan smiled and clinked glasses with Qin Ning. Qin Ning picked up the glass and took a small sip. Then she heard Tang Chuan say, I performed so well today, shouldn't you give me some benefits? What benefits do you want? Qin Ning looked at him amused. I'm very easy to satisfy and I'm not greedy at all. How about, you give me a child or something? After hearing Tang Chuan's words, Qin Ning almost spat out the red wine in her mouth. Give him a child. How was that not greedy? This Tang Chuan was really shameless. Don't get so excited, I'm just teasing you. Seeing the subtle changes in Qin Ning's expression, Tang Chuan couldn't help but laugh. When the two of them were together, it was always full of passion and the atmosphere was especially funny. Just as Tang Chuan was laughing, Qin Ning suddenly leaned forward and gently kissed him on the lips. Although it was just a light touch, Tang Chuan still felt as if his brain had been electrocuted. This was the first time Qin Ning had taken the initiative to kiss him. But what just happened? Tang Chuan didn't dare to move. He looked at Qin Ning and asked seriously. Qin Ning giggled. Don't laugh, I'm serious. What happened just now? It happened too fast, I can't remember. Why don't you show me the scene again? Tang Chuan said deliberately. In your dreams. Don't push your luck. Qin Ning turned her head and said embarrassedly. Hey, is someone shy? Tang Chuan looked down at Qin Ning. Go, go, go. Let me see, your face is really red. Huh. Tang Chuan, do you want to die? Just like that, the two of them played around like children playing house. In the end, Qin Ning leaned on Tang Chuan's shoulder and enjoyed the peace and beauty of this moment. Tang Chuan, yeah. If you go back with me this time, what if my dad gets angry and kicks you out? No way, I already agreed to be his live-in son-in-law. Why would he kick me out? Tang Chuan looked wronged. Didn't you sneak out in the middle of the night last time? My dad thinks you're not sincere to me. Plus he's always had a bad temper. Maybe when he sees you he'll kick you out. What will you do then? Qin Ning looked at Tang Chuan worriedly. Chapter 2401. Okay, if you really want to kick me out, then I'll have to go. Tang Chuan purposely sighed. How can you be so indecisive? You'll leave just because I told you to? Obviously, Qin Ning was unhappy. I can't just stay at your place, right? I'm a grown-up. So embarrassing to be kicked out. Okay, do whatever you want. Qin Ning immediately stood up and stopped leaning on his shoulder. She was clearly unhappy. Seeing Qin Ning like this, Tang Chuan secretly laughed and continued, but I don't know anyone in Los Angeles. If you kick me out, I have nowhere to go. All I can do is wander around during the day and sneak into your room at night. Do you mind if I share a bed with you? Tang Chuan, you tricked me. Qin Ning finally realized that she had been tricked by Tang Chuan. She immediately raised her fist and punched him on his shoulder. The two of them openly displayed their love for each other, torturing a bunch of single people on the plane. On the other side, Huamin was being driven to the suburbs by Qin Chu. As the two drove through the city, Huamin noticed something strange. At first she wasn't sure, so she took out her phone and looked at it. It's Valentine's Day today. Huamin muttered to herself. What's wrong, honey? Seeing Huamin mumbling to herself, Qin Chu tilted his head and asked her. Honey, it's Valentine's Day today, right? Yeah. But why aren't there any roses on the streets? Even the flower shops aren't selling them. It's so strange. Huamin looked at the people on the street, the couples holding hands and the girls holding lilies and baby stars. She didn't even see a single bouquet of roses. This was too strange. Roses were everywhere on Valentine's Day every year. No matter if it was red roses, blue roses, or pink roses, the streets would be filled with roses. Roses represented love. Why was it this year? Really? I didn't pay much attention to it. Qin Chu answered casually while driving. Huamin didn't give up. He opened his phone and scrolled through his WeChat moments. As expected, the couples in their WeChat moments were also posting lilies, and they were all complaining that they couldn't buy roses. Jixin was pursuing Bella, so he originally planned to order 99 roses and confess to her. Who would have thought that they wouldn't be able to book it? Jing Jixin. Valentine's Day is so weird this year. Roses can't be bought and money is a luxury. Can someone tell me what's going on? Jiang Xiaowei posted a photo of the limited edition Cartier couple bracelet that Wei Liao had given her. Next to it was a bouquet of roses made of gold. She said, roses can't be bought this year, so my husband generously ordered gold roses. Although it's old-fashioned, I'm still very touched. Zhu Lingling posted a table of food, red wine, and a bucket of popcorn. She wrote, we're an old married couple, so it's okay that we don't have roses. I'd be happy even if this man gave me popcorn. After all, we're going to spend the rest of our lives together. She scrolled down and saw that Qin Jia had also posted lilies and a diamond necklace. The only one who posted roses was Cece. However, Cece was already far away in New Orleans. She held a giant red rose and smiled happily. She wrote, he's full of fire and courage, but in the end he's still willing to return to normal for me. Thank you, my great hero. Huamin liked all of them. Then he put away his phone and said to Qin Chu, honey, other than Cece, no one else received roses. But Cece's in the States, so it doesn't count. What's going on? Could it be that someone had started to speculate in roses just like gold? Did you hear any rumors? Chapter 2402. Huamin's imagination ran wild, thinking that someone was using roses to create hype. No, Mr. Qin replied nonchalantly. Okay, pretend I didn't say anything. Huamin saw that Mr. Qin wasn't interested in the topic, so he didn't say anything else. An hour later, the two drove to a manor in the suburbs. Honey, what are we doing here? A farmhouse? Fishing and eating? Huamin didn't understand. Looking at the mountain village in the middle of nowhere, he didn't know what Mr. Qin was up to. Come with me. After Qin Chu parked the car, he held Huamin's hand and walked out. Mr. Qin, you're here. At the door, a man in his 40s saw Qin Chu and greeted him. Is everything ready? Qin Chu asked him. It's all ready, Mr. Qin. You and Mrs. Qin can go in. Okay. Qin Chu nodded, holding Huamin's hand as they walked in through the door. Only then did Huamin realize that they were in a simple manor. After walking in, it was a very dark and narrow path. It was a little dark. If it weren't for Qin Chu by her side, she would have been scared. Honey, where are we going? This place is so scary, Huamin whispered. Chu didn't answer and just walked forward in silence. After walking for about 4 or 5 minutes, the path ahead began to light up. Min saw a glass door. It was big and beautiful. However, because it was covered by green vines, they couldn't see what was inside. At the glass door, Chu held Min's hand and slowly stopped walking. Why aren't we walking? Min was curious. Guess what's inside? Is it a vegetable garden? A pure green vegetable garden? Min guessed. Pudding and Little Bean loved vegetable gardens like this, so they often came here to pick strawberries and tomatoes to eat. Min thought that Chu had invested in a vegetable garden and wanted her to take a look and give him some advice. After hearing Min's words, Chu only smiled. Close your eyes, I'll take you in. Why are you being so secretive? Is it necessary? Min thought it was funny. It's necessary, Chu ordered her like a child. I'll close. Unable to, Min couldn't dissuade Chu, so she closed her eyes. Then Chu slowly opened the glass door. Chu's Chu and Min's. After walking for about 20 to 30 steps, Chu found a perfect spot and stopped. Then he gently said, Mian, you can open your eyes now. After hearing this, Min slowly opened her eyes. Instantly, she was stunned. In front of her was a sea of roses. In the middle was the blue enchantress. Then the pink rose wrapped around the blue enchantress, and then the champagne rose. In the end, the entire mountain was covered in red roses, blooming brilliantly. Under their feet was a high platform. Looking down, they could see a mountain full of flowers. This place was actually a huge rose garden. When they came in, Min was fooled by the simple house and door. She thought it was just a vegetable garden. Who knew that there was a whole other world inside? Why are there so many roses? Min was so surprised that she couldn't speak properly. Chu was behind her. He gently hugged her waist and whispered in her ear, I bought out all the roses and planted them in this sea of flowers. Today only you can have roses. After hearing this, Min's eyes flashed with tears. Chapter 2403. Honey, aren't we being too extravagant? Min's voice was slightly shaky as she turned her head and pressed her cheek against Chu's handsome side profile. Honey, we're already being very low-key. Chu whispered in her ear. Indeed, for a CEO with a net worth of hundreds of billions of yuan to give his beloved wife a sea of roses on Valentine's Day, he was already being very low-key. Every year on Valentine's Day, there would be news that would make the headlines. For example, a rich man gave a million-yuan sports car to chase after a female lead. For example, a rich woman chased after a male idol and booked all the advertising spots in the city to show her love. For example, a rich man chased after a female straight-A student who came back from abroad with a high degree. He even used a helicopter and threw money at her. Tens of thousands of people fought over her. Compared to those people who liked to play to the gallery, Chu's approach was indeed much more low-key. Most importantly, it was his style. So beautiful here. Feels like a fairy tale. Min felt like she was dreaming as she looked at the sea of roses in front of her. Honey, I'm sorry that I missed Valentine's Day for 4 years. But from now on I won't miss it again. Chu thought about how he was recovering in the States and felt very guilty towards Min. Hey, let's not talk about the past. You have your reasons and you don't want to be separated from me. I don't blame you, just cherish what you have now. I'm very easy to satisfy, really. I don't want anything else in this life. I just want to be with you and the twins as they grow up. If there's a chance, I also want to be reunited with Yen and Dad. My life will be complete. Min made a beautiful wish. I will. Don't worry, I will make all of your wishes come true. Chu hugged Min tightly as he thought about the wish he made when he was young. His biggest wish in life was to help Min fulfill her wishes. Whether she wanted to be a doctor or find her family, he would do everything for her. The two of them sat at a long dining table by the cliff of the glass room. Chu ordered the servants to prepare steak and red wine. The atmosphere was very good. Min hadn't drunk in a long time, so she was especially excited today. She took the initiative to pour herself a cup. Honey, I'm happy today, can I drink a little more? Min stuck out her tongue and asked Chu's permission. Sure. Wow, this is great, I haven't been in such a good mood in a long time. So drinking really depends on your mood. I want to be a drunkard today and then you can carry me home hot. Chu looked at the childish Mian gently, and his heart was filled with warmth. Huamin, who had always been low-key, took out her phone and started taking selfies. She took a romantic picture of a sea of flowers, and another one of her making a peace sign with her mouth in Chinchu's arms. A faint smile appeared on Chinchu's face, and his eyes were filled with a rare happiness. Then Huamin posted the pictures before dinner. Chinchu, who never liked to post on his WeChat moments, also used Huamin's pictures and posted them on his WeChat moments. Huamin wrote in her WeChat moments, "Today I have a sea of flowers." Then her WeChat moments exploded with comments one after another. Chapter 2404. Zhu Lingling, what the fuck, what did I just see? Are those roses? They're blinding my 24K aluminum eyes. Jiang Xiaowei, no wonder we couldn't get any roses. President Qin bought all of them. He's so rich. Wei Liao, you two are so lovey-dovey. Even a married man like me can't stand it. Gao Ran, people who don't show off their love are the scariest. Because when they do, it's their ultimate move. They're going to destroy us anytime. Xixin, sis, those are roses. No wonder I couldn't get any. Can you sell me 99 roses? I'm waiting online. And Yang, me too. Cici, wow, it's a sea of flowers. Man, I have to criticize you. How can you take pictures of such a beautiful scene? Pouting and acting cute is outdated. Bella, President Qin is so cool. Yang, you can tell when the boss makes a move. Boss, you're the boss after all. You're so cool. Little Bean, wow, what did I just see? Daddy and Mommy not only snuck out to have some alone time, but they're also playing the romance of the century. I bet 10 packs of Oreos that our little brother or sister is about to show up. Pudding, I give full marks to Daddy for this surprise. It's amazing. He's so arrogant. Other than Mommy, no other woman can get roses tonight. Then, jade agate? Beeswax? Clem? Buddhist beads? Jade bracelets? Then Huamian listed all the precious jewelry she had. However, Mr. Qin still shook his head. Huh? None of them. Then is it food? Huamin asked. Honey, if you can ask this question, it means that your IQ is not as good as it used to be. Qin Chu said in all seriousness. Ha. Huamin couldn't help but laugh. Don't give up, keep guessing. Qin Chu continued to encourage her. It's really too hard. Let me think, huh? Is it an antique? Is it something you were so busy buying at the auction? Huamin's imagination went wild and expanded the scope of the question. None of them. This is something you really like. I promise that you'll be very happy when you see it. Qin Chu purposely acted mysterious, making Huamin's heart itch. Honey, please tell me, I really want to know. Huamin finally begged for mercy. Chapter 2405. You can open it and see for yourself. Mr. Qin pushed the delicate little box in front of Huamin. The truth was, no matter how expensive Qin Chu's gift was, Huamin wouldn't be surprised anymore. With the couple's current net worth, they could afford any kind of pearls and diamonds. Their love for each other couldn't be measured by money. The more expensive something was, the better. Huamin knew Qin Chu well. To make up for his absence from Valentine's Day for the past 4 years, Qin Chu prepared a huge surprise for her. He bought out all the roses so that no one else could buy them. Not only that, he also prepared a mysterious gift. Therefore, Huamin had great expectations for this gift. She really wanted to know what Mr. Qin prepared for her. Can I? Huamin was pleasantly surprised. Of course you can, only you have the right to open it. Don't control yourself, just open it. Qin Chu smiled at Huamin. Huamin excitedly took the box, took a deep breath and slowly opened it. The moment she saw what it was, Huamin froze. Then tears began to roll down her cheeks, and her tears turned into pearls. Honey, how can this be? How can this be? Huamin was so excited that she couldn't speak properly. Do you like it? Qin Chu calmly looked at his wife's surprised face. Yes. Huamin didn't know what to say, so she nodded furiously. It turned out that this wasn't jewelry, pearls or diamonds. It was just a pair of ordinary hairpins. Girls used them to decorate their hair. They were made of ordinary iron, and they looked exactly the same when placed side by side. They were long and each one had 6 small red roses on it. The craftsmanship was exquisite. The color was incomparable, but why did these ordinary-looking roses make Huamin so excited? It turned out that when they were young and first started dating, they gave each other a Valentine's Day. At that time they were both students, so they didn't give each other anything too expensive. Although Chin Chu came from a wealthy family, he wouldn't give Huamian any extravagant gifts. At that time Huamin's hair was also flowing in the wind. Chin Chu saw this pair of rose hairpins when he was shopping. He wrapped them up and gave them to Huamian. Huamian didn't know what they meant at that time, until Zhu Lingling reminded her of the song The Most Beautiful that was sung by the Yuchuan group, which was extremely popular at that time. There was one line in the song's lyrics. I gave you 12 roses, each one is as beautiful as you are. Chin Chu wanted to tell her that she was the most beautiful woman in his heart. Huamin also really liked this ordinary-looking gift because Chin Chu had carefully chosen it. So that day when she wore the hairpins on her hair for the first time, it stunned and softened the passing of time. Later on, Chin Chu gave Huamin many other gifts, but her favorite was still this pair of rose hairpins. Until the day before their high school graduation. They originally planned to go abroad together, but Huamin completely broke up with Chin Chu because of her stepfather's car accident. At the graduation ceremony, she publicly announced that she was breaking up with Chin Chu. From then on, Huamian was just a passerby. In order to make Chin Chu give up, she pulled the pair of rose hairpins off her head in front of all her classmates and fiercely threw them on the ground. The rose petals instantly shattered, just like Chin Chu's heart. It hurt so much that it couldn't heal. Later on, Huamin turned and left, leaving Chin Chu all alone. Chapter 2406. He knelt down and picked up the scattered roses. For the first time in his life he felt so sad that he couldn't breathe. Then Chin Chu went abroad and they parted for 7 years. The stories of his youth were always like strong wine. They came strong and left indifferently. Many years later, Huamin would still feel guilty whenever she thought about what she did. She would regret destroying the gift that was so important to her. Now that Chin Chu presented it to her with both hands, how could Huamin not be moved and shed tears? The reason for that was because to the two of them, that item held extraordinary significance. It was extremely important. Honey, where did you get this thing? Back then Before Huamin could finish her sentence, she paused. If Chin Chu had someone redo it or buy it, it would have looked brand new. It wouldn't have looked so old like it was now. Therefore Huamin made a bold guess. This was the pair of hair clips that she broke back then. As expected, Chin Chu nodded and said, after you broke it, I carefully picked it up and kept it with me. Last night, after you fell asleep, I went to the study and glued it back together. Although it's not as new as before, it's still the same. Nothing can replace it. Huamin carefully took out the hair clips, placed them in her hands and gently stroked them. Then she couldn't help but cry. Don't cry, we should be happy. Chin Chu picked up a tissue and gently wiped Huamin's tears. Yes, we should be happy. Honey, did you know? Out of all the gifts you gave me, this is my favorite. Huamin's voice trembled as she looked up at Chin Chu. I know. Chin Chu's tone was gentle. Then do you know why this is my favorite? Huamin asked again. Because when I was a student, I bought it with the money I earned from playing piano for a day. I didn't use my parents' money. Chin Chu seemed to know Huamin very well. Huamin excitedly held onto Chin Chu's arm and nodded. Yes, because you used your own money. You're such an arrogant person, but you were willing to play piano for a day just to buy me a gift. Do you know how I felt when Gao Ran told me? Chin Chu gently stroked Huamin's long hair with a smile. I'm thinking I want to cherish a man who's willing to lower himself for me and love me for the rest of my life. Huamian couldn't help but burst into tears again. Well, Dr. Hua, are you confessing to me again? Chin Chu teased her. Honey, thank you for letting me see it again. But I thought I would never get it back. Huamin sobbed as she leaned into Chin Chu's arms. Don't cry. Here, let me put it on for you. Chin Chu carefully wiped away Huamin's tears. Then he picked up 2 hairpins and put them on Huamin's hair. Huamin lovingly reached out to touch the hairpins on her head as if she had received a precious gift. I told you would be happy to see it. Chin Chu smiled from the bottom of his heart. Yes, even after so many years, it's still my favorite gift. Huamin said as she stood up and hugged Chin Chu's broad waist tightly. Then she kissed him deeply. Chapter 2407. The 12 roses I prepared, each one as beautiful as you. Your beauty is silent, unknowingly making me follow you. Baby, this time I'm in love. I'm at a loss, but I don't regret it. In such a beautiful glass room by the cliff, looking at the roses blooming all over the sky. With a precious gift on my head, I'm listening to such a touching old song. Huamin suddenly felt that if time stopped at this moment, she would be the happiest person in the world. Originally, it wasn't big news that no one could buy roses in the city, but Huamin posted the roses on her WeChat moments. One person spread 10 and 10 people spread 100, and this news spread. Some media outlets began to report on it, and on Valentine's Day, all the media outlets were reporting on it. GK's president and his wife show their love in a low-key manner, buying all the roses in a domineering manner. I'm going to buy all the roses so no one can buy roses. Qin Chu's beloved wife proclamation. A sea of roses for the love of his life, Qin clan couple show their love to a new level. The clear water wrinkles because of the wind, green mountains never grow old. Rich people have true love. Rich people have true love. President Qin Chu bought all the roses in the city to make his wife smile, just to give her a different Valentine's Day present. In short, the chicken soup for the soul on WeChat moments that night were all soft posts. Huamin and Qin Chu appeared on the news again, although they really didn't want to be high profile. Huamin didn't realize that her WeChat moments was about to explode until she and Qin Chu were on their way back from dinner. Many fans even left comments on Weibo, making her feel helpless. Imperial Star headquarters, so you didn't deliberately work overtime, but he did have 2 meetings in a row, and it was already 7 p.m. when he got off work. Seeing that it was too late, he didn't pick up the twins. After sending Pudding a WeChat message, he drove away from the company within Valentine's Day, which was full of single people on the streets, was really uncomfortable for a single person like him. Even at the old mansion, his parents would go out on romantic dates and have candlelight dinners. His friends were also in pairs. He opened his WeChat moments. Wei Liao and Jiang Xiaowei were deeply in love with each other. Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling showed their love for each other. Qin Chu and Huamin were deeply in love with each other. And Ai Yang and Qin Jie showed off their love. Even the unreliable Master Tang, who was previously a playboy, didn't forget to show off his love when he was changing planes. What kind of world was this? President Su, are you in a bad mood? And looked at Suyu with a straight face. I suddenly feel like drinking, but unfortunately, it's hard to find someone who can drink. Old Wei is at home with his wife. Tang Chuan, that brat, went to America with his girlfriend. President Su, how about I drink with you, and said quietly. If you're drunk too, who's going to protect me? Suyu joked. Okay, I'm just joking with you. Let's go, I'm tired from working overtime. Let's go get a drink. Suyu didn't deliberately make fun of An. When they passed by Dizun nightclub, he parked his car in front of the entrance. After Rick left, Seductive Fox's business wasn't as good as before, and Tang Chuan didn't manage it well either. Therefore all the rich heirs and rich people came to the newly opened Dizun. It was Suyu's first time here, but everyone in the nightclub knew who he was. Lord Su is here. Please come in. The lobby manager looked as if he saw the god of fortune and invited Suyu and An inside. Chapter 2408. Lord Su reserved the best private room for you. It's on the top floor. It's okay, it's just the 2 of us. The private room is too big. Let's just sit at the bar for a while. It'll be lively. Suyu waved his hand. He walked into the bar with An, and the manager opened a booth for them. The bar was very lively. Waves of explosive disco music were playing, and men and women in revealing clothes were twisting their bodies under the flashing lights. Without Suyu's instructions, the manager ordered people to bring in a lot of drinks and fruit plates. If you like any girl, go and flirt with her yourself. Don't be shy, don't suppress yourself, Suyu said as he ate sunflower seeds. It's okay, President Su. I'm not that lucky. And shook his head. He wanted to sit here for a while and then leave, but he didn't expect to see an acquaintance here. Big brother Suyu, a clear female voice called out. Suyu turned his head and saw Wei Ying. Beside her stood a tall girl. Why are you here? Suyu asked. I'm single too. I'm here with my friends. Why are you here? Wei Ying had a lot of bad friends and had a lot of fun, but she didn't expect to see Suyu here. After all, he wouldn't easily come to a place with so many people. Oh, nothing, I'm just here to see. Suyu was close to Wei Liao, so he had known Wei Ying since they were young. Wei Ying would also call him Big Brother when they met. Then, can we share a table with you? Wei Ying asked with a smile. Do you? Su Yu nodded with a bottle of beer in his hand. Wei Ying immediately led the girl to Su Yu's table. Let me introduce you to my good friend Zhang Wanyu. He's an internet celebrity. She's the most popular streamer on a live streaming platform and has tens of millions of fans. She's even been on a TV show. Wei Ying strongly recommended her best friend, Ho Young Master Su. The girl looked gentle and had the standard face of an internet celebrity. She was indeed very good-looking, but she wasn't easily recognizable. She might not be able to recall anything after a glance. Su Yu nodded and didn't say anything. He just looked at the center of the dance floor. Haven't you always wanted to achieve enlightenment? My brother Su Yu is a media tycoon. Most of the popular actresses were groomed by him. Do you know Nie Lingxian? She's an actress from Imperial Star, Wei Ying said proudly. I know. Young Master Su has always been the idol of many of us girls. The girl shyly looked at Su Yu and smiled. Big brother Su Yu, is it true that you're with the new star Nie Lingxian? Wei Ying asked casually. Of course not, Su Yu replied indifferently. Ha, I knew it. If you were really in a relationship, my brother would know. But when I asked him the other day, he said it wasn't. But you've been single for a few years now, right? Haven't you thought about getting a girlfriend or something? Wei Ying purposely looked at her best friend as she asked. The girl also looked at Su Yu expectantly, as if she was waiting for his answer. It's good to be single. Women are troublesome sometimes. Su Yu took a sip of beer. Wei Ying and her best friend immediately felt awkward. By the way, big brother Su Yu, do you know why we can't buy any roses in the city today? Wei Ying asked mysteriously. Su Yu's eyes flashed, but he didn't say anything. His hand that was holding the beer moved slightly. Chapter 2409. Before Hu Xiqin could speak, Wei Ying said, I heard that Qin Chu bought out all the roses to give his wife a surprise. He's so arrogant, as if he's the only rich one. Why does he have to be so ostentatious? Big brother Su Yu is so rich, but I don't see him flaunting his wealth. To be honest, I'm starting to despise them more and more. Sometimes I think they're so hypocritical. Wei Ying didn't like Hu Min because of Hu Yanyan's relationship with Hu Yanyan. However, she ignored Su Yu's feelings for Hu Min. Therefore, she didn't even notice the subtle changes on Su Yu's face when she spoke without thinking. And gave her a few looks, but she didn't see it at all. I heard that she went to a third-rate university. She didn't even study abroad. She's a country bumpkin and she's a doctor. How can she be compared to my sister-in-law? My sister-in-law got her doctorate from overseas. She's a famous psychologist, and even the leaders of the Municipal Public Security Bureau have to be polite to her. Plus, her parents are both famous professors. Hu Min should look at himself in the mirror. How can he show off his love on Valentine's Day? In my opinion, she's going to be a mistress sooner or later. After all, it's taboo for a woman to not have a son after marrying into a rich family. Qin Chu will have another woman sooner or later. When that happens, she'll cry her heart out. Wei Ying had always been vicious with her words, but because they hadn't interacted much before, Su Yu didn't have any conflicts with her. Now she was so arrogant that she insulted Hu Min in front of Su Yu. She had crossed the line with Su Yu. And stared at his boss cautiously and saw that his boss's face was turning green. However, Wei Ying was still talking with relish. And broke out in cold sweat for her. After Wei Ying finished, she looked at Su Yu gleefully. Big brother Su Yu, am I right? Wei Ying was jealous because she heard that Qin Chu bought all the roses because he loved his wife. She was jealous, so she spoke viciously. I think Hu Mian gave birth to 2 girls, but you didn't have any children after you married into the Shen family. Don't call me the pot calling the kettle black, Su Yu said slowly. Big brother Su Yu, what are you talking about? Wei Ying understood what he was talking about. Su Yu brought up the fact that she didn't have any children after marrying into the Shen family. Everyone in the Wei family knew that this was Wei Ying's sore spot. You shouldn't be so vicious. How much pain do you have in your heart that you can't bear to see other people living well? Hu Min doesn't have a degree or looks. What does that have to do with you? Does it bother you? You're making it sound like you're very close to her. You even brought up your sister-in-law. I used to think that Shin Mingxi was wrong to divorce you because he didn't want you. After all, you've given your heart to him. It's very pitiful that you were forced into a divorce. Now I understand. He made the right choice by not wanting you. Any normal man wouldn't want a woman like you. After all, no one wants to cause trouble for themselves. Wei Ying was dumbfounded by Su Yu's words. You're tuning in to the Biao's Wuxiao Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.